everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back. I am still going through my card supplies and using things that I haven't used. I've had this since last spring. It is the Simply Perfect Layered Blooms from Spellbinders. I did purchase this on Amazon. I will link it down below for you. It is still available. I looked last night. If you are new here and joining for the first time, subscribe if you are interested in seeing these card builds, because I've got these two different sets from Spellbinders as well that I have not used. So these are coming to the channel, I believe, for spring. Yeah, so I'll probably bring these to the channel moving into the springtime, which is going to be here before you know it. Okay, so Concord and 9th cardstock here, and I pulled basically a darker shade of a color and then paired it with a lighter shade. So 2 shades of pink, blue, purple, and green. I will list the colors that I'm using in the description box down below. Just open the description box and scroll all the way down past the links and I'll list the colors. And yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to use this as a reference, and let's start with this big flower here. And then I know I want to use these round flowers, the small one and this one here. I'm not going to be incorporating this one. It's got a lot of little details. I'm just going to be using the more standard flower, if you will. So I'm going to pull those out as well. And then we've got the leaves. We've got this little sprouts here. All right, so let's bring in Sweet Pea here, and I want the darker layers to be the base of the flower and the lighter colors to be the accent of the middle of the flower. So this is going to be the bigger piece, and then we'll take Ballet Slipper and cut this little piece out, and I will just do that for the other flowers. I'm only going to cut this larger flower here one time because I'm going to be cutting my panel down. I don't want to bring in this flower multiple times because I want my panel to be cut down. I think it would take over too much. So one big flower, and then we'll have the medium and small. And I'm just going to stack all my elements there and put my magnets on my Spellbinders magnet. And I'm just going to continue to die cut these pieces, and then we will go from there. All right, so we've got the flowers cut out, the greenery, and now I want to bring in the gold for this detail here. And I want to cut this out twice because it's got the full sprig here, and then they've got it broken up. And I really like how they're adding these little flowers to the other group of flowers instead of just this whole bunch, if that makes sense. I like how they broke it up. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to bring in that sweet pea again for these little flowers. So let's bring in this gold, foil gold here. And this is just from Joann's. I do have some from Concord and Ninth, and it looks the exact same. I'm just already cut into this sheet. It was like a 12 by 12 sheet, so that's why I'm using this. Okay, so we need to cut that out twice. Oh, and then we need the details of the flowers. So these are those. And let's cut these out in gold as well. I didn't pull anything for the center of the flowers. Let's just do all gold. Let's just see how that looks. So let's put that down as well. And then we need these little pieces. Okay, so that is part of that flower. And then let's bring in a little bit of this Ballet Slipper. Secure this down and run this through as well. So on the picture itself, it's got the center of the flowers being gold and then, or a mix between gold and black. And I think I'm just going to do gold on gold. I'm not feeling the black. I could pull a gray. I'm thinking mushroom from Concord and Ninth because it's kind of like a darker gray. But I think the gold on gold will be okay too. So we'll see. So just popping all those little pieces out there. And I need to cut out these little flowers a few times because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only cuts out 3 and I need 5 to complete this little sprig here. And then I want to make another one. So we'll cut it out a few times just so we have enough little petals. And now let's start piecing these flowers together. Let's just start with this one here. So I'm going to, let's use some tweezers. Apply the glue to this lighter layer here. Oh, it's got a cutout that needs to be, let's see. Okay. Just had a little piece that was supposed to fall out and it didn't. Let me, yeah, had another one. Okay. So a little glue. And the details are shown. So let's see here. I think it lines up just like this. Okay. Did I just completely butcher that? I think I did. No. That little piece just looks really off, but I think it's okay. It fits, it lines up. So that is our first little flower. And then we've got the center there, which is this little piece. And then that's when the darker piece comes in. And I think I'm going to bypass that. So I'm going to add a little glue here and grab my wax tool. And then this little gold piece lines up. Perfect. Okay. That looks so cute together, those colors. Now it's got the center piece as well. Let's add that and let's see if we can even tell. Oh yeah, I like that. Let me zoom in for you guys. And we've got our first flower done. And that is the gold on gold there for the center of the flower. I like that. Alrighty. And I'm not using that flower there. So now we're working on this style of flower. And then we've got these little ones. So I'm just going to repeat this process. Just a lot of gluing. And this is this relaxing part. Once you get your color selected and start cutting things out, this is the relaxing part, the fun part. choosing the colors is kind of the overwhelming part because there's lots of pieces, right? Essentially, a flower is 4 different layers of paper. And I don't think I cut out the center. Oh, you know what? I remember. Goodness. So the center of this flower, I want to cut out in gold. So I need to bring that back in and cut this out twice because I've got 2 of these flowers. Because right now I just have it in the pale pink and that light blue. So the whole thing doesn't need to be cut out necessarily. No, it doesn't. There's that center. So I'm going to kind of offset that just to salvage this paper. So let me make sure it's on there. Okay. All right, so real quick here before I cut out the other one, let's fit that in there. Oh yeah, perfect. It's so cute. I love this gold color. So I'm going to cut this out one more time and then we will resume on building our flowers. So this one I don't have all 5, but that's okay. So I'll just set this, if I can pick it up, set that over to the side. That will be the one that we cut up and use just for the little extras, and then we'll just use this entire piece there. Now I've got the green, and I chose Sprout and Parsley for this, and I want the Parsley, the darker color, to actually be the vein or the vein or the spine of the leaf. I'm not sure of that correct term, but just change it up. Okay. I think in this they're actually using that gold. If they're not using the, maybe it's like a yellow. It's definitely lighter. It almost looks like that gold, but with this leaf here in particular, right next to those gold sprigs, I think it's just a lighter color. So these are all angled. The center, this darker green, is angled. So it just doesn't it doesn't really make sense, but the pointier part of the leaf is exposed with this part shifted further down. So I'm going to mimic that, if that makes any sense. So just keeping the darker green closer to the less pointier side. So we've got this pointier side here. So this is what's going to be shown. All of this is what's going to be shown on the card, and this is going to be nestled underneath the flower. And very little glue here. That's one reason actually that I love this Fairly Art glue, because this precision tip, it just really helps use a little bit of glue basically. Just I push a little bit of glue out and then I just use that precision tip to kind of, you know, spread the glue around, and then it just kind of builds up on the precision tip itself. And it's plenty of glue for these little bitty pieces, so I don't have too much glue seepage and it just ends up making a mess. Okay. Okay. And I've got these little centers here, but I don't need them because these centers, I guess I'm gonna go with that flower or maybe that other flower. I'm not sure, but I don't need them. So let's do a little clean up here and get a little more organized, and then we'll bring in our panel. All right, so I have my panel here. This is 80-pound cardstock, and it is A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I want to trim this down, so I bring in my paper trimmer, and my go-to dimensions for the panel is 3 3/4 by 5. And I like this size because when we bring in our card base, we've just got a nice margin there. It kind of breaks up the white on white a little bit more, and I just really like how that looks. And looking at this, I think I want to bring it in or bring it down a little more. So let's do 4 3/4. Okay, yeah, perfect. So what we've got here is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Yes. Yeah. Alrighty. So for this, I thought that it would be nice to bring in more detail. I'm going to use this Geo screen from Spellbinders. This is beautiful. This is a larger embossing folder. So I need to run it through my Platinum 6. But I cut it down to size first, and then I will, and you can spritz this with a little bit of water just to help the embossing folder manipulate the paper. I used to do that more in the beginning, but just letting you know that that is an option. So I lined it up there. I need to make sure it's straight. Okay, so I'm gonna run this through my Platinum 6 off camera real quick. Alrighty, let's reveal the magic and the beauty of an embossing folder. How crisp is that? I love this. That's the back side. So pretty, guys, so pretty. Okay, so let's think here. Let's go ahead and just build the card. I'm going to wipe off my magnets because they end up accumulating quite a bit of dirt and grime. And let's build this up. So let's zoom out real quick. Just a bit there. And we're gonna add 4 strips. I start on the outer edge and then fill in the middle. And of course, using my non-stick scissors to cut the tape. I like the dimension of the foam tape, but I also like to add the foam tape for stability when embossing because it has been manipulated, right? So I want to make sure that my panel will stand the test of the mail and not get bent up and stuff. So this foam tape just helps create more of a substantial panel. Alrighty. Line it up. Make sure everything's straight. And then, excuse my head if it's in the way, guys. Let me pick this up real quick. Okay. I almost placed it up too high, and then I noticed down at the bottom that there was quite a bit of space there. So I shifted it a bit, and I just wanted to make sure. So what is next? The flowers. And I've got this just right over to the side using this as a reference. We're going to start in this left-hand corner here. We're going to do something very similar to that. So we need 3 flowers here. So let's just do the pink, the blue, the purple, and then the top will be the pink and maybe blue. I didn't cut out another pink. I don't think we need this one. And then we've got this, which I'm kind of contemplating, or was contemplating on cutting that out in the darker green, the parsley. But I think now that it's down on this white paper, I think it stands out more than that parsley would. So something along those lines. And then we've got some leaves here. Oh. Okay, so what I want to do is bring in some pop dots. These are from Dollar Tree. They're not too thick. And that's what I want. Let me think. So let's start with the main flower here. So we got a general idea. We're going to build this one up so we can kind of nestle the leaves underneath it. The worst part about pop dots is removing those backers. Whether it's with your finger or a tool, it's just still not my favorite thing to do. So let's nestle this kind of in the corner there, just lightly pressing it down, and then let's bring in our glue again and our tweezers. And I'm gonna focus the glue more towards that bottom part. The stem, and then just a little glue on the top because some of it's gonna kind of go off of the panel. Now let me see here. Just pressing that down. I'm going to hold my fingers on it just to make sure that it gets pressed while that glue is still drying. Okay, perfect. Now let's bring in this detail, which I think really is my favorite. Just add plenty of glue. This is a dainty piece. Alrighty. I'm going to hold it down as well. If you had an acrylic block, stamping block, you could definitely use those. I might need to get one out. Okay, now let's see here. We want to bring in our second flower here, our medium. Let's glue this directly to the panel, and then we'll bring in our smaller flower. Maybe lift that one up with a pop dot, and then we need a leaf. You know what? I forgot something. I wanted to add, where is it? I pulled these because I haven't used these either, and I just remembered before I start gluing more down here. Let me, because I was thinking something like that. Let me try to pick this up here. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Crud, that is a bummer. Let me think. I need to cut these out because I want to use these. I've seen these being used with a lot of florals, and I really like it. This is from Spellbinder's Advent Calendar this year. So something new as well. And if you were curious on where I got it, that is where I got it. If you had the foiling system, you could do that instead. Let's cut this out real quick. Alrighty. All right, so I want it to look like it's coming out of the bouquet. I want it underneath, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it there. So let's do it here and just go ahead and just glue this down, and we'll cut off the excess. Trim that down. Now I got to figure out how to make this work. If I could just only, let me see here, lift up this guy here. Okay. And then that little petal. I think that that will work. Is this going to be long enough? I think just barely. So I didn't need to cut out two. One is plenty. This little detail here, I've been wanting to use these so much, and I've always just knew that I wanted to use it in gold too. Just hadn't gotten around to it yet. And I had it over to the side of my desk, which was not very smart. Okay, so let's lift these up again. I'm going to use my poker tool. Uh-oh. Come on. I have to put it in just that perfect spot for it to fit. So I'm just going to press that. Where did my stamping block go? Okay. Stamping block. Let's add a magnet on top of it for additional pressure. And let's just let that set. And then I will move on to this blue flower here. And then our little flower here, we're going to pop this one up. I think I put that popped out on the wrong side. Okay. Something like that. So I'm going to add a little glue here, and then let's remove this backer. So the pop dot is going to be on the blue, and then on the blue flower, and then that glue is going to be touching the pink flower. Perfect. And just holding that down. And just remember that I need to add a leaf. So the pointy part is the overhang. Let's nestle this underneath here somehow. I just bent it with my tweezers. Goodness. There we go. Okay. Now let's move this down and let that get pressed and glued down. Okay, now, sorry about that additional light. I had a window open and the sun had shifted and it was starting to come in here. Okay, so this looks so cute. So now we have this little guy here. Let's just trim one of them off here. And let's see where we can tuck this guy in at. Add some glue. Just right there. So now for this top part here, let's build this one up because this is our main flower. We'll have the leaves surrounding it. Okay, so just add the flower there. Let's figure out this leaf situation. Turn that around. I just lightly pressed it so it's not completely stuck down in case I need to shift something. So maybe something like that. Or, yeah, we'll do that. We won't pop this one up. We'll bring that one back. Let's just position that one there for now. Okay. And then for these, it's got 3 left. So I am going to bring in my scissors here and cut. Let's cut this one off. It doesn't really matter. Just kind of looking at how much stem I had to work with, and I cut that one way too short, but that's okay. I don't know where I'll put this little guy. And let's add some glue. It also gives us a little wiggle room to move around. Just kind of position it there. So it's interacting with the leaf and the flower. I really love these colors, and the gold I think just really makes the card. It ties everything in together and gives it some shine as well. I don't really like that. This is too long. Let's trim that down. I'm going to use my tweezers just for a better visual because my fingers kind of get in the way. Let's just add it right there. Just to kind of balance this piece out because we've got a little flower here. We'll add a little flower up at the top. Okay, and then we've got this last one, which I don't think fits up there. Let's see if it'll, yeah, let's put it down here just so we use it. It's such a little piece. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. Okay, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it just like that. I was trying to angle it a little bit, and then the gold was kind of hiding. I want a little of that gold exposed. There's not much to work with. So that is it. Lots going on, lots of detail, but I like it. And, you know, it's complex. Like, you know, I am using this. This is essentially the same thing. I've just tweaked some things and added some other elements just to kind of make it my own. Excuse me, just to make it my own. But now let's work on a sentiment. I'm going to bring back in this from our advent calendar, and I've already used Just Saying Hello with one of my cards. It was the bee card, super cute. So what does this say? You made my day is what it says. It's just out of order. So let's figure out what color. We can use the gold for this phrase here, this sentiment. We can use the gold, which I kind of think would be too much at this point because we brought in these elements, but the other color that I'm thinking is just the pink, the sweet pea. Just because that's our main color. And really there's no wrong answer. Or should we bring in that baby blue? Let's bring in that. I like that. Well, crud. I like the softer colors. So what I was thinking originally was bringing in the sweet pea again, which would really tie it all in together. It would look nice. I think the gold is too much. Or we can use this or this. Let's just cut it out and see. It's the only way to know. I think it's the pink. So let me cut it out again so we can layer it up. Let's just cut it out twice. So I'm going to continue to use my liquid glue here and use my tweezers. Where are they? My desk is a mess. Okay. So using my tweezers and just going to do the same thing. I'm adding a little liquid glue here and using my precision tip to kind of spread it out. And I'm just going to layer these texts. And then we'll get it glued down. Okay. There we go. You made my day. Just making sure they're all pressed down because like I said before, this is an uneven surface, the embossing. So you just want to make sure that all pieces of that paper of the word is actually being stuck down. Okay, everything else is good to go. And this is the finished card. I'm not going to add any embellishments. There's a lot going on, but I absolutely love it. Look at the detail and the dimension. I love the gold details, these pieces in particular. I am very happy with how this turned out. So give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next card or craft. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.